found a pregnancy test in the trash, but I'd secretly gotten a vasectomy. The next day, I overheard my wife talking to her mom. Of course I tell him it's his. I did this with the first child. He didn't notice. My lover isn't ready for kids. When she was at work, I packed my stuff and left. I sent the pregnancy test to her lover's wife. She called me and said Seth, that shocked me to my core. I always thought big revelations would come with screaming headlines or explosive fights. But in my life, it began with something trivial, a tiny piece of foil on the bathroom rug. That glimmer caught my eye the moment I walked in. I'd left the lights off, only a thin shaft of morning sun spilled across the floor. I remember pausing, worried I might step on something sharp. Vanessa, my wife, hadn't said anything about dropping anything. But it wouldn't be the first time a small object ended up in the wrong place. When I knelt down, I realized the spark came from a round foil circle about the size of my pinky's tip. It looked familiar, the kind of backing left behind when you push out a pill. One side was blank, but the other read too. That detail made me pause. Today was Wednesday, which meant that foil should have covered Tuesday's pill. I wasn't on any prescriptions at 35. I was healthy, and took nothing beyond the occasional aspirin. Vanessa, as far as I knew, wasn't on any medication either. We'd both had recent checkups and had been told, "You're in great shape." So why would a little foil circle labeled 2 be on our bathroom floor? I tried to dismiss it as a stray piece of packaging, maybe we dropped something without realizing. Yet a small knot of worry tightened in my gut. The only daily pills we used to have in the house were Vanessa's birth control pills. That was a few years back, before I had a vasectomy. The procedure came up once we decided not to have more children. She had been on the pill for years, but we eventually switched to the permanent route of my vasectomy. Afterward, she supposedly stopped taking birth control altogether. But now I held Tuesday's foil from a daily pill pack. A chill spread through me. If she was still on the pill, then it could only mean she was worried about getting pregnant. If she was worried about pregnancy, that meant the vasectomy I had wasn't enough, or she was sleeping with someone else. In the past, I might have just asked her directly, but some instinct told me to investigate before confronting her. I've always been methodical, especially after all the nights I spent perfecting engineering designs at my firm. I needed more proof before deciding whether I was overreacting, or truly had reason to be suspicious. I cleaned up, put the foil back where I found it, and made sure I left the bathroom looking exactly as it did before. Then I drove to work, my mind racing with questions I couldn't answer. At the office, instead of diving into the new contracts, I started looking up private DNA kits and covert surveillance equipment. My thoughts had turned dark within the span of an hour, but I knew I needed clarity. If Vanessa was indeed cheating, I wanted to know with who, for how long, and if our children, James and Sonia, were even mine. We had 2 children, 5-year-old James, and 3-year-old Sonia. I thought they were both mine. I'd always believed they were my flesh and blood. Still, that doubt nagged me. If she'd been lying about the pills, could she have lied about everything else? I ordered a series of items, discrete voice recorders, tiny cameras that could be placed around the house, phone cloning software, and DNA test kits. I felt sick doing it, but I convinced myself it was necessary. I wanted unassailable facts before I took any steps that might blow up our family. Those few days waiting for delivery seemed endless. In that time, I kept a close eye on Vanessa, searching for suspicious behavior. She seemed normal, no big changes to her routine, no sudden nights away. Our intimate life was the same as ever, once or twice a week, often squeezed in before the kids woke up. She didn't rush to shower off any unfamiliar smells, nor did she wear different perfume or clothing. If she was cheating, she was doing a damn good job of covering her tracks. When Friday arrived, I got the call at work that my packages had been delivered. I had them sent to the office so Vanessa wouldn't ask awkward questions. That afternoon, I pretended I had a light schedule and went home early. The pair who helped us with the kids while Vanessa and I both worked, was feeding the children. With her busy, I went upstairs and installed cameras in the bathroom, living room, and bedroom, the main spaces where I suspected evidence might appear. The bathroom was crucial for seeing if Vanessa really was taking birth control pills. As soon as the kids were in bed, I used a cheek swab on each of them for the DNA kits, doing my best not to let them see what I was doing, or understand the significance. They just thought Daddy was checking their cheeks with a funny Q-tip. I swabbed myself as well, then mailed the samples, which would be processed quickly. Results promised within about 48 hours from the time the lab received them. That evening, Vanessa came home at the usual time. We chatted about mundane things, her job, the kids, what to watch on TV. Meanwhile, I felt like a stranger in my own marriage. After she went to shower, I slipped into her car to place a voice recorder under the seat. I also cloned her phone, downloading her text messages and emails. To my surprise, there was nothing incriminating in her digital footprint, no evidence of flirting, no suspicious phone calls. That either meant I was wrong, or she was more careful than I'd imagined. The weekend was almost normal. We did what we always did, chores, a trip to the park with the kids, and morning intimacy that felt more like a routine chore than a loving act. I kept a polite demeanor, but inside I was restless. By Monday morning, Vanessa headed to work as usual, and I told her I'd be working from home to catch up on some projects. The moment she left, I removed the micro SD cards from the cameras, and loaded the footage onto my computer. The bathroom footage showed Vanessa taking a small white pill around the same time each day, confirmed, she was definitely back on the pill. My heart sank, but I pushed myself to keep checking. The bedroom camera presented the next surprise. On Saturday night, while I was busy cooking dinner, she had come out of the shower, gone to the bedroom, and typed a message on a phone I didn't recognize. She apparently had a second phone, not the one I had cloned. I watched as she finished typing, walked to the air conditioning vent, opened it carefully, and stashed the phone inside. I was stunned. She had a secret phone. No wonder I'd found nothing on her official phone. It also made sense that she'd keep it out of sight whenever I was around. I needed to see what was on that second phone. That night, after she went to bed, I checked the vent from the other side, which opened into Sonia's room. The phone wasn't there. It must have been in her purse, or somewhere else. So I bided my time. Eventually, on another occasion when Vanessa was showering and I heard the water running, I quietly opened the vent from Sonia's side. The phone was there. I grabbed it, raced to my office, and cloned its contents to a new device in a matter of minutes. Now you can watch the second part by pressing share and more.